let's go shadow the Domestic Abuse Commissioner. I got an email saying that I have been chosen to speak in Parliament. Oh my god! Why is that actually quite cute?
That's you.
That is me. I'm a rat!
So cute. It's like that. I thought you got from sewing.
Does that even fit? Lovely.
They believe this thing caused the earthquake. That is obviously believable, but not this.
It's not focusing. Hey guys, and welcome back for another vlog. Yet again, I've got quite a crazy couple of days ahead of me this week, so I thought why not film it. The reason why I'm in London this time is because after what has been kind of like a year in the making, going back and forth, not being entirely sure whether it was going to happen, to then getting confirmation a couple of weeks ago, I am going to be shadowing the Domestic Abuse Commissioner, Nicole Jacobs, and her team. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure I did mention it in a vlog last year, back when I was kindly invited by Nicole herself in Parliament. After telling her about what I plan to do with my PhD and like how passionate I am about changing policy and working in the sector, she basically gave me her business card and said she'd be more than happy to have me come and kind of shadow her team at her London office, just to see how like everything works like behind the scenes when it comes to like policy. And like honestly guys, I am just so shook. Like I think I'm still processing it, but it's happening. And if you know me, or at least have been following my journey, you'll know that this is an area that not only I'm really passionate about and have lived experience in, but it's something I would like to do as a career, working in violence against women related research and policy. So to be literally invited by the Domestic Abuse Commissioner herself to come and visit her office and get an idea of what it's going to be like, it's just so cool. Oh, yeah, it's crazy to think like within the space of 2-3 years I've gone from reading her reports to now being invited by her to come and visit. It just feels like such a full circle moment, and it's also quite healing, you know, for my younger self. But yeah, without getting too soppy, that is basically the big thing that is happening tomorrow. Since I'm not based in London, my boyfriend Dan and I decided to stay over the night before the shadowing, just so I don't have to get up at the crack of dawn, and I'm so glad we made that decision. We're currently in like a Premier Inn hub. The plan for this evening is just to settle in, chill. Dan's just gone and ordered some food for us. I've just realised it's super obvious on camera how much my roots have grown out. Oh my god. I am in such dire need of having my hair re-dyed. I think the last time I had it dyed was actually just before I went to Australia, so this is like 6 months growth, and yeah, especially on this side it's just so obvious. I feel like I've got like a line, which is great. Yeah, before I carry on yapping any more about my hair, I'm gonna spend the rest of this evening unwinding before a very exciting day tomorrow. Good morning guys. I feel like I've woken up a bundle of nerves, tiredness and excitement. If you can hear anything dripping by the way in the background, it's the shower. It's supposed to be off, but it literally has a mind of its own. Honestly, all this morning I kept asking myself, Gaia, why are you feeling nervous? Like this is literally such a cool experience and I just really want to make a good impression, partly because I would absolutely love to work for them in the future. I guess it's just natural, you know, like imposter syndrome setting in, you know, that all these people are doing literally like my dream job and there's just little old me coming in to shadow them. I think it's also because despite what I said about this month, I don't normally come into London as much as this, so this does feel like a big deal. This is my outfit for today. I've just gone for a little blue dress. that I think I got from ASOS a few years ago. Trying to go for the summery, flowery theme, even though the weather outside is definitely not giving summery, flowery at the moment. It rained so much yesterday and I think we even had thunder, so I'm hoping that's not the case for today. So since it's just gone 9 o'clock and it's a little bit of a walk away, we're going to head out now. I'm not entirely sure how much I'm going to be able to film today because obviously it is the Commissioner's office. Either way, I will update you in a bit. Let's go shadow the Domestic Abuse Commissioner. After walking over to the London office, I started the morning off by being introduced to everyone and sitting in on 2 team meetings. Honestly, I kept wanting to pinch myself every time I saw myself in the viewfinder sat next to Nicole herself, like as if this was really happening. Before lunch, I then got to sit down with Nicole for an hour and chat. If you'd have told my master's student self that 2 years later the Domestic Abuse Commissioner would be making her tea and asking all about her PhD, past Guy would be quaking. In the afternoon, I then got to meet with several staff members from the policy team, asking them all about how they got into policy and any advice they had for me. Honestly, this was the best day ever. Everyone was so lovely and I'm so grateful to Nicole and her team for letting me shadow for the day. Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I've just realised this is the first time I've sat down and chatted to the vlog since yesterday. Apologies if there's like a million shadows on my face right now. The lighting in this hotel room isn't the greatest, no matter which angle I try. But yesterday, the shadowing day with the Commissioner was absolutely incredible. It was literally everything I could dream and ask for, if not more. But today, as you've seen, I have travelled to Manchester. Dan and I are heading to a gig tonight to go see the band PVRIS. They're like a alternative rock, maybe you could even say emo band that Dan and I have been wanting to go see for absolute ages. And what's crazy is I actually bought the tickets while Dan and I were backpacking in Australia. I managed to get one of the Spotify pre-sale codes. I remember feeling absolutely stressed when they said the tickets were going on sale because I think they were being released at like 10 AM UK time. So I was like, what time zone is that in Perth? But we got them, and Manchester is one of the only tour dates I think they're actually doing in the UK. So I was like, guess it's a day out in Manchester. But one thing I actually want to mention that has just happened, that has nothing to do with why I'm here in Manchester and the gig and everything, is while I was in Costa, I got an email saying that I have been chosen to speak in Parliament next week. This has been very much one of those opportunities that just comes out of nowhere. I got an email, I think about it last Friday, asking if I was interested to be nominated to speak, but nothing was like completely certain just yet, until today where I got the confirmation. I mean, speaking in Parliament definitely wasn't on my bingo card for 2025. I feel like July 2025 is definitely going down in the history books as one of the coolest months of my life. And I feel so incredibly grateful to Tender for putting my name forward and for this opportunity. But yeah, I wanted to share that with you guys since it's approaching 4 o'clock now and we want to head out in an hour to go get a bite to eat for the gig. I am going to go do some makeup and I'll update you in a bit. There's Dan, cheeky Dan in the corner. So my makeup's all done now.
I don't know why I just did that.
But this is what I have decided to wear for tonight's concert. I just decided to keep my black shorts on that I had from earlier and then paired it with this mesh black bodysuit. I'm sure you've seen this plenty of times in previous vlogs. It's just such a staple for like nights out. I feel like it also is very on brand. Like I feel like a lot of people tonight are just gonna be wearing black. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely be in my element. I also feel like the eyeshadow colour that I've done tonight is very 2020 Gaia.
If you know, you know.
Tell me you're off to a rock gig without telling me you're off to a rock gig.
But yeah, let's go get some food.
So yeah, let's go get some food.
Hey guys, so I'm picking you up a few days later on Saturday now. When I first was originally visualising this week and what I wanted to film, I was hoping to vlog on Thursday and Friday, but then when I got home from Manchester, because of how I've been feeling recently about my PhD, I think I just wanted to spend those days focusing solely on figuring out my PhD proposal before I updated you guys on anything. My progress when it comes to my PhD proposal hasn't exactly been smooth sailing. In the last vlog I was focusing on the literature review, and 2 weeks later I'm still doing that. In an ideal world, I was hoping to have that obviously done weeks ago and, you know, actually send off my whole PhD proposal this upcoming Monday, but obviously frustratingly that is not going to happen. Over the last month really I've been experiencing lots of brain fog and struggling with my dyslexia, and it's just really impacted, you know, the completion of the literature review section. And since that is literally the biggest section of your PhD proposal, you know, you want to get it right. I did in fact start drafting my literature review after I'd spoken to you guys in that vlog, but then I think it got to the Saturday of the next week and I just wasn't really happy with, like, you know, the way it was going. I think my argument just felt confused, and I think a lot of that was because of the brain fog. I just, you know, sometimes you're just like too close to it and you just don't know if you're making sense. I was just overthinking it so much and I wasn't happy. So I scrapped it and then decided to use the days that I was away this week to just put the PhD proposal to one side and just take a break from it. So that's why when I returned to the literature review this Thursday, I just wanted to just get my head down and just really focus on it. Good news is I have started writing a fresh new draft. Obviously, because we have had this little bit of a blip when it comes to the, well, I don't even want to say little, we have had this big blip when it comes to the literature review. It's obviously meant I'm not going to realistically be able to meet my original soft deadline that I'd set myself to get this proposal to the supervisors that I've been talking to. So to avoid completely stressing myself out, I've set myself a new deadline to have the entire PhD proposal done and sent off to supervisors by the end of July. And I think this is not only more realistic and kinder to myself, but it's also still keeping in line with my original overall PhD application timeline, since I've got that parliamentary speech on Monday and I haven't yet written the speech because of, you know, how last minute this whole thing has been. The plan is I'm going to spend a few hours on my proposal, try and get as much of the literature review done, and then switch over and start drafting the speech, because obviously I need to actually work out what I want to say, let alone practice it. So yeah, I've made myself a nice coffee.
Did I just spill that on myself? Wow.
Anyway, we're gonna go get started. Hey guys, so it's a little bit later now. I've since had lunch and done a little bit more on my literature review, but I'm going to park it there because I desperately need to write this speech. It's crazy when you think it's coming up to, I think, a year ago this week that I actually did my graduation speech. Despite being able to chat to camera, I'm not really someone who is the best public speaker, if I'm honest. It's one of those things that everyone gets nervous about. So not only is it still surreal that, you know, I was able to speak at my graduation last year, but it's crazy to think that literally the same week, a year later, I'm doing another speech, this time in Parliament, which you could argue is like even bigger. Since the like overarching theme of this APPG meeting on youth affairs is social media, they've actually given us young speakers some prompts that we can use when it comes to crafting our speeches that all relate to how us young people navigate social media and like what are the pros and cons and like what does, you know, good support look like. So since I'm definitely, as you guys know, not the kind of person that can just bang out a bunch of sentences, I am going to brainstorm using those questions, and hopefully by the end of today I actually have something I can work with tomorrow to start practicing. I really do not have much time to pull this all together, so let's brainstorm this speech. So in a bit of a crazy turn of events, I've somehow managed to bang out the full first draft of my speech, which I didn't expect. So I guess the next thing I need to do now is read it and actually time it. But since that's pretty much it for the evening, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much if you've got to this point in the vlog. My July has turned out to be just absolutely full of really cool things. So I'm thinking of vlogging as much as I can over the next few weeks. So if you did want to actually see how my Parliament speech turns out, you are in luck. But until then, thank you so much for watching this vlog. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for more content. Bye!